Hi, 8th graders. Today in our Google Meet, we will be doing this slideshow with Pear Deck. I want to remind you about what a function is. So you can expect to see this on your test on Tuesday, and we have been learning that yesterday and today in section 1.7. So it's important to know that a function is a relationship between an input and an output. It is important to know that input is our x value and our output is our y value. So you could also say that a function is a relationship between an x value and a y value. Here, the very important thing is to know that in a function, there is exactly one output. Here, output is y for each input, which is our x. And we are used to our input being x and our output being y. I do want to make a note that in function notation, you will see something like f of x equals, say, 3x plus 1. Okay? Instead of y here equaling, it's going to be f of x equaling. Also note that inputs are x and outputs are y. Okay? And we can have functions represented in 5 different ways: as a table, a mapping here where our x or our domain values are here and our range values are here, an equation, a graph, or ordered pairs. Okay? How do you tell something is a function? If there is only one output for each input. This is your key. If each x only has one y value. Note that 2 different x values can have the same y value. Okay, let's take a look at this first problem. Is this a function? Here, notice our domain is our x values and our range is our y values. Our x values can only have one output. And here, the input of 1 has 2 different values, so this one would not be a function because the input of 1 has 2 different outputs. Here we have a table. I'm looking at my x values first. I don't see that -4 repeats. I don't see that -2 repeats. And I quickly realize that none of my x values repeat. So this tells me that each x value only has one y value or output. Here, remember f of x is the same thing as y. It's our output. So this would be a function, yes. Take a second to try this one. Consider if this is a function. Okay, here, this one is a function. It is okay if our x values go to the same output. I couldn't have 2 go to 5 and 7 though, but it is okay that 2 and 3 go to 7. Try this one out. Is this one a function? Okay. Here, remember, we are given order pairs. It is nice that these are written vertically because I can see all of my x values and my y values. Sometimes they are written horizontally. Here, I see that 4 repeats twice my x value and it has different y values, so that automatically tells me it is not a function. Here, the 5s also again appear to not be a function because they have different outputs. Try this one. Okay, here, notice I do have an x value that repeats. I have 4 and its output is 7. I have 4 again and its output is 14. Here, my x values have different y values, so that is not a function. If this 14 was a 7, then it would be a function because each time my 4 has the same output as 7. But here it is not true. Is this one a function? Here, remember this is our x-axis. My x value of 1 only has one output right here on this line. My x value of 2 only has one value right here of negative 2. It is okay that my negative 1 also has a value of negative 2 because its x value only has one value here. So this is a function. Is this one a function? Yes, this mapping is a function. Each input or x value has one output. Last one, is this one a function? Here, notice our x value of negative 1 has two different y values. It has a y value of 1 and negative 1. Here, my x value of negative 2 has two different y values, so this is not a function. You will also learn about the vertical line test today, which says if you can draw a vertical line through your graph and it only crosses the graph once, so this line once, then it is a function. Notice if I drew a vertical line here, it would have two crossing points, but here if I drew a vertical line, it would only cross once right here, or if I drew a vertical line here, it would only cross once. So this one is not a function. Continue on with today's work, and we will see you next week.